Hello again, everyone. So this video is entitled Why You Suck at Madden 24. And honestly, it's not just for gaslighting. There's just a lot of truth to that statement. Let's be honest, we've all felt it. Now the reality is, some people do just suck at Madden when it comes to gameplay, and some people just have a lot of talent. But there are some deeper truths here that I'd like you guys to consider. And some of those truths do have to do with Madden being an overall poorly coded game. And I'm not trying to badmouth EA here, it's just the truth. But anyway, let's break all the truths down here. First off, if you're losing games against human opponents, there may actually be legitimate reasons why. The number one reason why most people lose a lot is simply because of experience. Let's just say Madden was a perfect game with no bugs and everything worked great. Someone has to lose. In fact, just about 50% of games played have a winner and they have a loser, right? It's something that just can't be avoided, clearly. And what is the biggest difference maker when it comes to Madden? It's obviously 100% experience, not only with the game itself, but playing against a human online. I recently went back to NBA 2K23 after deciding that I literally can't stand 2K24. I put up an old My Team season and I played a game. And keep in mind, my field goal percentage that year was at like 65% at that point in the season. And that was when I left off about a year ago. So what happens when I come back? I shot 47%. I barely beat the computer. I mean, I was lighting the computer up a year ago. And now I can hardly even shoot 50%. Why? Experience. Yes, I played probably hundreds of hours before, but that experience was a while back. So the little nuances in terms of shooting, court spacing, X switching, even rebounding, and the instant muscle memory needed to play well simply wasn't there for me. Game 2, I shot like 53%. Game 3, a little bit better. It took me like 4 or 5 games to even start to feel like my old self, and I still don't feel in total control yet. My point here is that the guys we see on YouTube, the pros and the advanced players, well, they play the game almost every day, all day. So their muscle memory is literally on point, down to the split second. Most people don't even have the time to play the game every day, much less multiple times a day. So let's say it's been a long week and Thursday night rolls around and you find that you have time to play a game. So you load Madden up and decide to go into a head-to-head. There's a good chance, after of course you sift through guys quitting after they don't get the onside kick on the first play or because they threw an interception on the first pass, whatever, there's a good chance that eventually you're going to come into a game with someone who at least has some decent skill. But you haven't played at all. Maybe for a few days or even longer. That person, even though they may be worse than you in terms of skill, is most likely going to kick your butt because they've been playing all evening or throughout the week at least several times. Your reactions and your vision are just simply going to be slower, and it takes some time to get those reflexes and that awareness back. And along those lines, let's talk about the game itself. Madden 16, Madden 18, Madden 21, Madden 24 are literally completely different games. The game speed, the routes, the playbooks, the plays, and the way the routes run in general, the zones and how they play, how well or how poorly man-to-man is. Hell, even the kicking meter is completely different with almost every iteration of Madden. And let's just be honest here, the bugs. The bugs are super unique to each Madden. For instance, last year, highballing. Madden 21, lowballing. Highballing in Madden 23 was literally OP. Lowballing in Madden 21 was again literally OP. OP routes are almost always different from year to year, and that's not just because of the way the routes run, but also because of the way the zones play. So let's say you load up Madden 24 after being a killer Madden 16 player, and let's say you have awesome football instincts and literally call the play and routes that your opponent's going to run. And you just know he's going to run a corner out to that right side, so you put a cloud flat out there, and you know in your heart you have this play bagged. And then boom, a 25-yard corner route torches your so-called perfect defense. And you think to yourself, what the hell? I literally called the perfect defense and I got torched. That's because you failed to understand that in Madden 24, your cloud flats suck, and that you need to put a hard flat out there and set your drops to 30 to stop that route, and that you also had to back your corner back up to boot. Then you failed to realize that when you backed your cornerback up, your opponent audible to an RPO because you gave too much space, and he crib shotted you from the backfield because you backed that damn cornerback up. You see what I'm saying here? You see what I'm getting at? One of the reasons the pros are pros is because they literally have to know the game inside and out and know every glitch. Containing the quarterback will stop rollouts? Nope, not in Madden 24. Setting a hard flat? That'll stop that RPO, right? Nope. Again, not in Madden 24. Slide protecting to the right to stop left side blitzes? What the heck is going on? And this is why YouTube videos like this one, or the ones that I put out so far this year, are so popular. Personally, I'd say that at least 50% of the game is understanding the glitches, the bugs, and honestly, the poor coding. And maybe 50% of the game is actual football strategy. Oh, he's running dollar? I'm gonna run all over him. Nope, you forgot this isn't football, it's Madden. And that's why you suck, right? And that's why people that watch I think that's why people watch these types of videos, is to find and to even stop those exploits. Think about every video you've watched about Madden this season alone. Be honest with yourself. What percentage would you say was just covering good football strategy, and what percentage was exploiting the weaknesses in the code to exploit blitzes, zones, or even to combat people who know how to block or work around those exploits? I'd venture to say that percentage isn't very flattering. What about pregame adjustments like coaching settings, zone depths, option defense, audibles? Can you imagine coming into Madden 24 right now, today, literally knowing football at a high level, but not knowing any of these things? You would simply get torched. I've probably played at least 5 or 10 games this year where I never ran an offensive play. I would either punt, or if I was in field goal range, I'd kick a field goal as soon as I got the ball on offense. And I won each of those games, but maybe one, I think. Why? It's because I knew more of the exploits and how to counter them than my opponents. That's the only reason. Not because I was a better Madden player per se, but because I knew the exploits and the way the game is played this year. And that's why I was doing that, just so I could play defense and improve my defense. Think about it. If you're at least an adequate Madden player, you know that either consciously or subconsciously, every single play you call, an adjustment you make, is at least in some part likely influenced by your knowledge of a glitch in the game that is honestly anti-football strategy. And we have to account for these glitches pre-kickoff, right? And if we let up at all, we learn really fast not to ever make that mistake again. Which brings me back to the experience thing. If you play against the computer 3 hours a day, you are still at a disadvantage if you go up against a human who's played 2 or 3 games against another human already that same day. Lag is a huge factor. Adjustments are much harder to make online than they are client side, because you can't always make them as fast when lag is there. So you get out of a rhythm and you don't realize your adjustment didn't take. I remember I lost a killer game because of that, and it still nags at me. I know that I put a middle third out there, but it simply didn't register, and I got burned between the hashes on a deep bomb because of it. It still makes me sick. Had I played at least a game or two that day before that game, I'm telling you guys that wouldn't have happened. Now, another reason why you might suck at Madden is rage. When Madden screws you, there are times it just throws you so far for a loop that you're just done for. Sure, there are times it fires you up and it helps you to focus, but we've all had it happen where we just got so screwed we basically tossed the game, even if we stayed in. When a glitch or an RNG or random number generator screws you, it can be so infuriating. We all know it, and it really sucks. So anyway, why am I saying this stuff to you guys? Am I just trying to bitch about Madden and complain because I suck at the game? No, not at all. Those things really do suck. And yeah, EA needs to do a better job at things like fixing zones, blocking, fixing exploits, etc. And not just fixing one thing with a band-aid while breaking two other things, okay? They do need to up their game. There's no doubt about it. But what I'm really getting at here is that you, yes, I'm talking to you maybe need to give yourself a break. I think we all need to remember this is just a game, and we need to remind ourselves to have fun. This year I got my tail kicked. I think it was the second game I played, like 56-0 or something like that, because I didn't buy the game for the first month. But I stayed in, and I told the guy I was just coming into Madden and I wanted to take my tail whooping like a man, and I needed to learn from what he was doing. So I asked him not to let up, and believe me, he did not. I learned more from that game than almost any other game this season. I tried my best to just completely detach myself from my ego, and I realized I was just playing someone who was familiar with the game, who knew the ins and outs, at least the ins and outs of the game at that time, and I wanted to see how he was doing it. I played him again a few weeks later, by the way, and he quit out after the first quarter. Again, that's not because I'm some Madden god, because I most certainly am not. My point here is that I couldn't expect to beat someone who had far more experience than me, who'd been playing from launch. My point here is that the reason we watch videos like this is to understand the exploits, game plan for those exploits, adjust around those exploits, and remember that every video game, I don't care what it is, has exploits that you need to game plan around. But once you do understand those exploits, that frees you up to get down and dirty and play some real football. So you hop on an online game, you play a 12-year-old and he quits out after 30 seconds and cries to his mommy. You play another guy who tries 2 or 3 exploits that don't work and he quits out the game. Then you play another guy, and while he's playing fair, he's just not very good at the game for whatever reason. But then you match up against someone who knows what they're doing, who plays straight, and who gives you a really nice dogfight. Now you get to play football. Now you get to set that vert hook that tricks him into an interception, or that deep middle and outside third that breaks up his cover 3 beater. Now you drop into full zone coverage after running man-to-man 2 or 3 straight plays, and you get your sack or you get your interception. Now you throw that deep corner because he was expecting something else and you game planned for it. Now you get to play a real game of football strategy and competition, and you get to have a blast. So unless you have time to play Madden for at least a couple of hours every day or two, you need to understand that most likely you will suck a little compared to if you did have the time and the desire to put in the effort. And if you do, you'll have not only exploitative knowledge, but the in-game reflexes to put that knowledge together in a cohesive strategy to set yourself up for victory. If you're a casual player, you're probably going to need to play people who are as casual as you to have a fair fight. Don't beat yourself up over not knowing the exploits and feel like a loser because some guy racked up 21 points on you throwing RPOs. The highlights you're watching in this video are of Henry, who I think literally eats and breathes Madden. He probably not only has the most knowledge and of course an immense amount of skill, but he has probably the most amount of time in the game playing. And that time equates to familiarity, and honestly, it's a lack of hesitation. Cody brought this up during our interview, I think, and I think he's spot on. The effort you put into this game, not only playing, but studying, like by watching videos like YouTubers make, is directly proportional most of the time to your success. So what I'm saying here is just go have fun. And if you lose, you lose. It's not because you're some less than functional person. It's just because you haven't put in the time that many players have by this point in the season. Set your expectations to a more reasonable level. Take your tail whoopings and learn from them. And if you find that you really want to get better, just put in some extra time if you have it. Study and don't be afraid to lose. Just play, learn, and most of all, have fun, and don't attach your ego to a stupid game. This is how guys like Henry are born every year in Madden. They start out casual, they find that they want to learn more, they realize that their game improves at an exponentially faster rate when they do put in the hours, and boom, we've got another annoying Madden Pro on our hands to have to deal with, right? Seriously, maybe you are the next Henry, and you are going to be one of those guys that we get to enjoy watching at the next MCS tournament. It's just a thought, everyone. I hope this video has been enjoyable for you guys, and if it is, I'll do more videos like this in the future. If not, it was still fun just chatting with you guys, sort of one-on-one for a few. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to help my channel hit that sort of magical 1,000 subscriber mark, and be on the lookout for the next video. As always, have a great day.